I mean, it hits differently than when in my
I'm
20s.
38, so
I know, right?
mm.
And
Yeah, if you've never
what
tried
we do
port,
right
it's
there.
great. If you have a Trader Joe's there.
I'll get on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like $7, but it's 19.5%.
well, guys, you know what we're talking about. A little behind the scenes there. I do that every now and then. I do that every now and because I always feel like the conversation just before we go live is always funny as hell. So I sneak in a few seconds of it just to give you an idea.
Sneaky.
It's it's hump day. It's Wednesday. We're all it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So
It feels like a Wednesday.
me and Sarah, we're here. You know what it's all about. So say hello, Sarah. How you doing out there?
Good. How you doing?
I am great. I mean, I was telling her, I said like, Sarah, if you're gonna go, and there's a little sneak preview of what we're about to be talking about. I said, if you're gonna let loose, then I'm gonna have to join you. So it's Wednesday. We're here. I got my classic Jack and Coke, minus the Coke,
Chin.
and that's chin chin. That's like cheers in what language?
It's Chinese chin chin.
All right, see, there we go. I learned something there. Just not just entertainment news and reviews, educational purposes as well, guys.
Here's one from my heritage, Slanjiva.
And from mine, quit hogging the alcohol, fool, and pour another. No, from my heritage, puff puff pass. No.
Oh,
All right, now
it's that kind of show tonight, guys.
All right, exactly. We're gonna get real. All right, guys, you know what it is. Every Wednesday we do our entertainment news and review show. Welcome to Talking Through the Media. We're gonna get started eventually over here, guys. Like I said, weekly entertainment news. But if you don't have the ability to catch us live during our YouTube Facebook and Twitter live stream show, you can also catch us on podcast. So Spotify, iTunes, and SoundCloud. If you have a membership with one of those platforms, you can catch Talking to the Media. Also, we upload a new episode weekly, just as we do on our live show. Was I rude? Did I not mention to say I'm also being joined by Sarah Catherine? Did I not say that? I said hello,
Oh, they
right?
they saw me. They know who I am. It's okay. It's okay.
Also, remember, guys, if you have any live questions that you want to add while we're streaming live, you can put it in the boxes right to the right of where you see Sarah right there. It's going to be
My other right.
And you can add any of your questions, comments, or concerns during the show if you have any thoughts that you want to share with us. I just realized my AC is not on, and I'm gonna be burning up in here. But
go do it.
No,
handle it.
I'm going to power through and get today started, guys. First and foremost, guys, if you guys want to follow us, there it is on the lower third. But let's get started with the first topic of the day. I don't even have it up yet. Let me.
I can see her.
Where are my the topics that I had for today? I forgot to open it up. There we go. It's on my end, so I can get started with the show. So the first topic of the week was Agatha Harkness, the news that came in from Screen Rant, guys. As you guys can already see up there. So from Screen Rant. Agatha Harkness, starring Katherine Hahn, upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe spinoff could be set up by Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. The character originally debuted in Disney Plus WandaVision as Wanda Elizabeth Olsen and Vision Paul Bettany's nosy neighbor in Westview, which I loved. Agnes' plot details are still scant. I don't like that word at the moment, but sources describe it as a dark comedy. The project will be written and executive produced by Jack. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Is it Schaefer? And
yeah.
Sarah, what do you think about? When you found out about the news about the spinoff for Agatha Harkness? What did you think about that?
So I'm super excited. Plus, they already have like the opening song already, which I believe.
You think it's gonna be
when it hit? Yeah, when it hit like iTunes and stuff, it ranked in the top 100 after it hit like it was amazing. And
that's
I
true.
had so much fun. She was one of my most favorite characters, and besides that, who doesn't love this actress? Who doesn't love her? I mean, come on.
That's true, and I didn't even think about that. And I just realized that I don't have Agatha Harkness in the lower third. I knew something was missing, but that was I didn't think about whether Agatha all along. I don't know if Agatha, because that was such a monsters.
But that's the whole point.
But if they decide to go prequel, like if they decide to go in the whole issue with between her and her mother and her village, and to go into the past. Now see, because Disney plus Marvel, they are known for making each sitcom that they do different from everything else. Nothing is quite the same. So if they did the Agatha all along theme, I could see them doing that for like maybe the last, if they go prequel, if they go back in time, because I'm curious to see that relationship between her and her mother and her village, and see how she became what she became. That's what I would be curious about.
Yeah, without a doubt, we'll definitely see some of that. We'll get some more information on her, find out more about her and how she became that notorious villain. But where she was left, she was trapped. She was trapped in that do kind of thing that she was doing, you know?
I'm sorry, I missed that. What was it? The what?
The do-do-do, everything's great and I'm your neighbor next door kind of thing. And so she was trapped there by Wanda, right? So that's where we leave her. So it will be interesting to see where they start this off, because obviously they have so many choices. And by using the word scant means they don't have a clue right now what they're going to do with this series, but they know that there's a lot of hype and there's money in it. So they're just going to try to do something. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Hopefully they do a good job, but regardless, I'm going to watch it. Katherine Hahn is amazing. I love her as an actress, and she's going to be funny no matter how horrible the plot, the script, or anything.
Oh yeah, she's going to crush it.
We'll just see.
She's going to crush it. I love Katherine Hahn. I'm saying it right now. I know my wife's in the next room, but I'm telling you right now, I'd risk it all. I would risk it all for her. Love Katherine Hahn. Would you be more interested in a prequel of what happened before WandaVision or continuation if you had one choice?
If I had one choice, I don't think it's possible to not have it all be like a pile of something, because they don't have enough on her to be able to like pick up and just run with it in either direction. Right. They're going to have to do present and past and all that stuff. So they're going to have to do something. And I can't see her, like, I wouldn't know where she would fit in the future of Marvel, this particular character, because she is the villain that helps twist the Scarlet Witch into the Scarlet Witch, and that's really all she is. So she doesn't really have anything else, and so I don't know. I don't agree with the article saying that she might be in the Multiverse of Madness, the Doctor Strange movie that's coming out. I don't know how she would fit into that as
a counselor, I guess, because even in WandaVision, she said, "When I need you, I'll come get you." Maybe there'll be a scene where she goes back to the neighborhood and be like, "Hey, give me about that book. Tell me about this chapter. I can't understand. I can't decipher this or that and the other." And then she'll probably put her right back in a little prison. That's just me speculating.
Yeah. I don't know, because she cannot be a good character. She's not a heroine. She's not a hero. She's not a good guy.
But she's not really a villain either, because she babysits for the Fantastic Four.
She is.
But she's like, I don't know. She seems like an enigma. She can be useful and she can be a villain. Of course she's all of them.
She's ultimately self-serving. So
exactly.
No matter what she's doing, she doesn't have good intentions for any of those around her. And so ultimately that's like the villain mentality. So like she doesn't care, and she will sacrifice everybody around her to get whatever bits of whatever she wants. Okay. So that's just her character. So I can't see her truly having those redemption moments, because even with the Loki series, if you look at the Loki series, he did have redemption moments, and ultimately they made him very soft, but he is Loki. So he's going to turn around and he's going to spin things to him the way that he wants them to be in order to serve himself.
Right.
Even, so it doesn't matter who he thinks he loves or anything like that. And her character is ultimately the same. She's not a good guy. She's always iffy.
Well, that's a good way to put it off. Well, there you go. Agatha Harkness is always iffy. I like that. Guys, let us know what you think. Do you think that this will be a prequel to WandaVision, or the continuation, or a little bit of both, a little potpourri? Is she a villain? Is she a hero? Is she is she iffy? Comment below. Let us know. Put it in the box below. We'll talk about it maybe on an upcoming We Got Your Mail. So moving on to the next topic of the day. So there's been a lot of things going on with Netflix lately, and Dave Chappelle from the Hollywood Reporter. Dave Chappelle is gets standing ovations amid Netflix's special controversial. If this is what's being canceled is, I love it. So. After being called out for transphobic jokes in The Closer, the comedian performed at the Hollywood Bowl in front of Brad Pitt, Tiffany Haddish, and Stevie Wonder, and dismissed the outcry, saying, F Twitter, because this is real life. Sarah, did you happen to see the Closer on Netflix yet?
I watched 2 episodes of the series that he did on Netflix. But I will say I love Dave Chappelle. And for all the people that are out there very mad about what he's saying, he spread hate, or like he said a lot of hateful things about a lot of people in a comic way. So comics nowadays are very controversial. They make fun of things that, that's very touching, very close to somebody's heart, because it's comedy. So they're allowed, then that's the whole point of being a comedian, is to make fun of things that people are passionate about, or, that kind of thing, to find humor in everything, And that's what comedians are. They find humor in everything. They make jokes about everything. Yeah. Did he just make transphobic jokes? No, he didn't. He made fun of women. He made fun of men in power. He made fun of white guys. He made fun of Karens. He made fun of Black people. He made fun of everybody.
Yeah, that's what he's known for. And I even mentioned it on social media, on TikTok. I said, I pointed out that a lot of people, and a lot of people are pointing this out as well, they seem to be focusing on the jokes that he made that made people uncomfortable versus the overall story that the transgender comedian that he brought on tour with him, that he gave a chance, who then unfortunately she took her own life, and he started a trust for her to give to her daughter. And I thought that people were mostly only focused on what they were angry about versus the overall thing. And even in the beginning, he said that this is because he's done a few series on Netflix making these jokes, but he said in The Closer, this is the last I'm talking about this, and I'm not gonna, good or bad, I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. And I feel like people are missing the overall plot. But overall, I did, and I thought the stand up was funny. I can understand why people are still upset. But to become to oversimplify what his message was and what he was really trying to say, as far as like comparisons to the LGBT community's movement, and compare it to the civil rights movement, things like he made a lot of points that I feel like people are overlooking. But guys, let us know what you thought about the whole stand-up, the whole series about Dave Chappelle's comedy. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And we'll just keep talking about it as it progresses. I don't think any more is going to come from it, because he said he's not going to talk about it anymore. But if it does, let us know what your thoughts are as we move on to the next topic of the week, which is, I believe it's Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. Guys. So Halloween Kills is coming to theaters and to Peacock. Halloween Kills petition demands removal of the firefighters massacre. A petition in change.org has been launched, and as it always has launched with the hopes of removing the scene where Michael Myers murders responding firefighters after escaping from Laurie's burning house at the start of the movie. Spoiler alert. It says, I want the scene in the new movie Halloween Kills where they show the slaughtering of firefighters. The petition reads, it is wrong because firefighters have been lured to house fires and murdered by people who set fires. And it is wrong that Michael kills the firefighters with the gear from the other firefighters he kills. As soon as the firefighter, I find it. As a firefighter, soon to be firefighter, I find it very offensive, and so does my mom and dad, who are retired firefighters. So, the person, I guess this is from the person who created the position. Real quick, Sarah, what do you think about this? Have you seen the last Halloween movie?
Yeah, I like to watch the Halloween movies. It's one of those guilty Halloween pleasures. You just kind of watch it, just like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, every time Halloween rolls around, because it's like one of those things.
It's like what's that? A Christmas Story on Christmas time.
Yeah. You don't have to necessarily love it to watch them. It's just something that everybody does. But in regards to her comment, I think that I can understand her point of view. I can understand how that would be offensive to her, but again,
was it a woman who made that petition?
Oh, I thought it was. I thought you said her.
I'll just be on the safe side. I don't know if it was her or I'll say that.
this person, they. But I think that it again, this rolls back to the same issue as with Dave Chappelle. It's just not for you, honey.
Yeah,
it's okay. It's the movie. It's fictional. They don't really die. Would I like it? It would be like me getting hung up of why'd they kill the redhead? I mean, what they do? What are they doing?
They have no souls, Sarah.
It's no. We have souls. We have all of your souls.
Shots fired.
You didn't know that? We collect them. That's why they burned us at Salem. Come on.
I love that. It's like, we got souls. Your souls.
Yours. But it's the same premise. Like if you don't like the movie, a fictional movie, this didn't really happen. They're not glorifying acts that people have done.
Right. This
is not, a glorified mass murderer of firefighters. This is a fictional movie that there's so many of these fictional movies. They didn't get mad that he used a chainsaw and because of all the lumberjacks out there use chainsaws. I just find this to be something to get real mad about. Yeah. And besides that, it comes out in 2 days. What are they? They've
already said we're not taking the scene out.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of
movie's made.
It's kind of hard to take that scene out. I mean, unless something very horrific. I mean, at this point, the movie's not only is it made, but it's already been shipped to every theater. I used to work in the movie theaters. These things get sent over to like weeks in advance. There's just no time at this point. I don't know when the petition was made, but it feels like they've already crossed that line to where all the footage or I know things are digital now, but it's been sent. I mean, to send an edited version would be impossible at this point. But here's why. Like, I agree 100% with what you said. One, it's just a movie. There's so many movies where children are harmed or dogs are harmed or this and that and the other.
In the 80s, the black guy dies first.
That black guy died exactly. You didn't. We just. I'm glad you pointed out. Here's my TED talk about that.
I just want to say. Go ahead.
But there was no petitions for that every movie where the black guy dies first would stop, because that black guy would be upset. He was like, hold on, man. It's hard for us to get work in Hollywood. It's the 80s. It's hard for us to get in Hollywood work anyway. Don't take this away from me. You would be taking work away from people. But
80s and through the 90s. Exactly. Let's be real.
But I understand what they're saying and why they're upset, but at the same time,
just don't watch it.
Exactly. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
It's not for you.
It's not for
you. Just
you.
like if you don't like Dave Chappelle, don't watch them. It's just not for you.
Everything we talk about is going to go back to Dave Chappelle. All right.
It is, because if you're not slightly offended by the comedy, it wasn't a good show.
I mean, I remember. Here's what I was going to say. What's Michael Myers supposed to do? I mean, Michael Myers. I recently just saw the last.
He's
Halloween
not going to
movie.
go. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. First, like I don't think Michael Myers cares about like police officers, first responders, and things like that. So it would be weird. We would be arguing about how woke media is messing up, things that would normally make sense
like
here.
Cult classics.
Like if what is Michael Myers supposed to do? And this is no offense to any of these movements, but what's Michael Myers supposed to do? Take a knee? I mean, come on. It doesn't make any sense. So
I want to know what his workout regime is, because what is he, like 60 now?
That's why.
Like, how's he killing so many people when he's so old?
I just watched the last Halloween movie the other day. I didn't catch up to it until the day before yesterday, because I was curious to see this one, Halloween Kills. I keep hearing the same thing on like it says every time he kills he transcends. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, every time he kills, is it like maybe he gets energy from that kill and he regenerates? Because in that, spoiler alert, guys,
like shit still.
But I mean, but when he started getting those kills, he started. It was as if he was in the body of a 20-year-old.
He was leveling up.
Yeah, exactly. He was leveling up. So now I'm wondering. Now, spoiler alert, guys, if you didn't see the last Halloween movie, there was a scene where Jamie Lee Curtis was shot his hand and he lost some fingers. Now, after getting a couple of kills after that, will that hand regenerate? Now, if that's what I'm curious to find out, I don't care about anything that ever happens in the movie. I want to see if that hand regenerates. That's the only thing I'm looking for.
I'm looking at a still from the new movie, and he looks like an old dude in a jumpsuit. Like,
he's old as hell, but
how is, if he's old, then he's not regenerating.
Oh, well, yeah. So, well, as far as we know, I mean, but now
he's got old man pants on.
He's been doing. He hasn't been getting any kills, but in the last movie, he's now getting some kills. I'm not saying his hair is gonna turn black. I'm saying, will his energy come back? His strength is now like he's his
demonic possession and power.
He's a force of nature. But guys, we can speculate all day about this, guys. I'm excited about seeing it. I'm gonna watch it.
I'll watch it. It's a fictional movie, so regardless, he's Michael and he's killing people.
Are you gonna go to the theaters and watch it? Or are you gonna go watch it on Peacock?
No, I'm gonna watch it at home, because I can't watch scary movies where something underneath the chair can get me. Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. Let's know what you guys think.
I'll take it. I'll take that one.
Let's know what you guys think, and we'll talk about it on We Got Your Mail. Up next. Okay, guys. Sarah, did you see the Scream trailer?
I did.
What'd you think about it? I saw it. What'd you think about it?
Well, in true Scream fashion, it is what it is.
That's a non-answer. I want an answer.
I'm going to go on with it. Okay. So the trailer opens and it's just like the first Scream movie, except they have got cell phones, right?
Right.
So landline, but also who has a landline? Who has a landline these days? I don't have a landline. I don't know anybody who has a landline.
Yeah.
I don't.
My grandma.
I don't know anybody, but yeah, there you go. But she's like, it's a teenager. So the premise of the movie that I gathered from the trailer is that here's a new Scream murderer, dressed all up, doing the dealio, is targeting people that are related to the original people who were murdered. Right.
Just like every Scream killer.
Yeah, but like, again, nobody moved. Like, they didn't move out of the town. Everybody's still there, and there's a whole mess of these teenagers getting murdered, and then we got the couple of the main characters came back: Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and that other one.
No, I don't think Sydney still. I think Sydney moved out of that town a long time ago.
Well, but she
just keeps coming back. They just keep bringing her back.
Nev Campbell, Sydney Prescott. Yeah. So Gail Weathers and Dewey Ridley are the only original Scream characters that have returned, but they've been in most of the other ones, too.
Well, they're the only ones from the original that's still alive, right? I don't think anybody. I don't think any of the original people are alive. All of them are dead. They've been all wiped out.
You're gonna have to fact check that one.
Well, that's and I was gonna bring the wheel back factor cap. That would have been a good one. I'm working on it. I know what you said. I know what you want. I know the wheel, guys. The wheel is coming back. I just didn't have time to bring it back this time. And I have a good idea about it too. I'll tell you about it after the show. My thought. Here's what I hope. I did a reaction to this trailer. I want one of or all three of the original cast to die, or at least one of them, or for all we know, all three of them. How badass would it be if Gail, Dewey, and Sydney are in on it and they are the villains? Wouldn't that be crazy? Yeah. I want one of them to be the villain.
Because Drew Barrymore was in one of the screens. Matthew Lillard was in one of the screens. They're still alive.
No. Drew Barrymore died in the first movie. She was the first kill.
No. I mean, like, I thought you meant like the actors were dead.
No. Okay. No, they're characters. No, they're everybody mostly is alive, guys.
I've had a long day. My understanding part of my brain.
That's how it works, guys. I drink and Sarah gets messed up. What the hell's going on? What's going? That's why the rule is puff. Pass, but she doesn't pass. She just keeps puffing. What the hell?
I don't puff.
Like, don't be spreading. She's like, don't be spreading any rumors about me.
I know.
This from the woman who
says on the internet forever.
Willing to admit that she collects souls, but not willing to smoke marijuana. But look, I would not be surprised if either A, one of the original three dies, or B, one of the original three is the killer. That would be the only thing to me that would be shocking at this point. And they had that opportunity on the fourth one, and they didn't take it. If they're gonna do a part 5, a part 6, I'm thinking this is the next set of trilogies. There was a part 4. This is part 5. I think part 6. I think this is a trilogy thing that's happening. They've
already gendered the killer as a he, because Sidney Prescott, Nev Campbell's character, keeps saying he. He is there. And then he talks with a gendered male voice, like a masculine type voice.
I mean, Ghostface always presents himself as a he, and that's always a mystery. I mean, it was a she in part 2 and in part 4, but they present themselves as a he because the original two were he's.
There's going to be more of these movies because they just called it Scream. They didn't call it Scream 16 or something, just Scream. So they're looking at bringing
before the pandemic, originally the poster had Scream and the S was replaced with the number 5. That was one thing they kind of. But that brings me to my next point. I've noticed that a lot of movies are doing that. A lot of franchises are doing that. Like Fast and Furious recently just did that with their titles. Instead of like they'll like, it's almost as if they're rebooting the titles. They'll call a movie Fast and Furious. I mean, we've already had the Fast and the Furious, but this will be like the 13th movie, and they decide to reuse the original title. Like they're not calling it Scream 5, they're just calling it Scream, which would be confused with the original Scream. Why are they doing that? That's the question. That's what I want to know.
So when you first started this whole thought right here, I almost said, "Girls, please."
I get that a lot.
Because like Hollywood, the movie makers, they don't have any ideas. So every 10 years or so, and look, Scream 4 came out in 2011.
Yeah.
What year is it? 2021.
10 years.
Every 10 years or so, when a new generation comes and they're the spenders at the movies or the spenders for the media, they just recast and remake one of these old classics. And Scream is a classic Hollywood horror. I mean, they're redoing the Michael movies, and so why not Scream 2? They always did really, really well. You know, if you think about all the movies that they've just remade and just titled them the same, like you can look at, Disney came out with all their live action versions, and there's 100 other movie titles that you can say, To Kill a Mockingbird, they've made that 15 million times. It's not surprising to me that they're just calling it Scream because they're hoping to introduce this to a younger generation, get them hooked, make 15 movies again, and that kind of thing, because they basically recast it and they brought in 3 of the only living characters in order to draw us old fogies back into the movie theater to say, what happens to Dewey? He was my favorite.
You know what? You know who would make a good villain? I'm going to call it right now. Dewey's little sister. She was in part 3 when she brought in the video of a pre-recorded movie for when not Dewey, not Randy. Randy's little sister. Randy had a sister, and she brought in a videotape that Randy pre-recorded just in case if there was going to be a third villain, which there turned out to be. And that was a way that they could bring Randy back because everybody was pissed that Randy got killed in part 2. What if the villain is Randy's little sister? That's it. I'm calling it. The villain is Randy's sister. Know. She's there. You want to know who's still alive? What character is still alive? Randy's little sister from part 3. She's still alive. I would imagine
I think it's going to be one of the idiot friends from the high school. I think it's just going to be somebody's idiot third cousin and they didn't get something, or
that makes sense. Somebody says that
the bastard child of the original killer.
Somebody was saying that online. People are like, I would rather that the villain be somebody unrelated to anything from the original cast, just some person that just decided to do this to kind of make it free, because every villain had some tie to something from the original. People are like, this time either make it one of the original people, which what I want it to be, or make it somebody totally unconnected who just wanted to start some crap. I'll be okay with either or.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, it's predictable because I mean, this is the 5th one.
The only thing that wouldn't be predictable if it's Sydney.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see that coming, huh? Like Sydney's got
in the trailer, she was in a completely different city when they called her and said, it's happening again.
Like, you got a gun? So, I'm Sidney Prescott. I always got a gun. If Sidney Prescott should have learned Krav Maga. How do you keep convincing Gail and Sydney and Dewey to keep coming back to this town? Oh, I wouldn't either. I would get with the FBI.
All of my relatives would leave. If somebody was like 4 times, everybody that was related to me, they would leave because they're not stupid. The first time they were killing my relatives, guess what? My relatives would disperse, change their names, witness protection, something. You wouldn't just live there.
There's the
Come
question.
Get me.
There's the question of the week, guys. If you lived in one of these cities that was famous for these things to keep, it just kept happening.
Murdering your own relatives. All your relatives get murdered.
Would you stay in this city? Let us know in the box below, and we'll talk about it on We Got Your Mail. All right, another franchise that's going on and on and on and on is Chucky. I told you that I was gonna watch it on USA or Sci-Fi yesterday. It debuted yesterday on and I caught it. I'm curious, what did you get a chance to check it out?
I watched it.
What'd you think?
Okay, so I do want to preface this and say I went into it with the mindset that I like the Chucky franchises. It's like this cute little horror thing. Again, it's very Halloween themed. You like to watch it in the spooky season kind of thing. And so I watched it and I actually liked it more than I thought I would. So much so that I have now DVR'd the whole series. So whenever it comes out, I'll get to watch it no matter what. It was different enough to number one, it is not just a remake of any of the original Child's Play movies.
No.
It is not.
It's in the same universe. It's a continuation.
It's in the future. So this kid picks up this Chucky doll at a garage sale, and then craziness ensues. Chucky is still his original character. I really like how it was shot because I'm weird about that thing. It was shot in the same style as the original Child's Play movies, so a lot of upward angles, a lot of what would be from a child or Chucky's point of view. The first episode ends with kind of an insight to who Chucky was before he became possessed in this doll. So this mass murderer, you get to see him with his mom for a second. And that was the extended version. I don't know if the regular version that was on USAA showed that, but the extended cut version on the Sci-Fi channel that I got to watch showed that. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that it's now a teenager, so they're opening up to that teenage market. So that's a good product ploy there, because horror and teenagers do great. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm going to watch more of it. I don't want to tell you too much about it because I think it's going to be super fun to watch.
Yeah, go out and watch it, guys. I loved everything that built up to it, and I'm curious. I'm gonna make a speculation because based on what you said, I'm gonna make an observation here. You saw this episode, but I'm assuming you have not seen not the remake of Chucky. Forget that. That's not linked to anything. The last two Chucky movies, the Cult of Chucky and the have you not seen the Cult of Chucky and what was that other movie that came out before the Cult of Chucky? It was the last two movies that came out before the remake. Have you ever seen those movies?
Yeah, I think I have.
You saw the Cult of Chucky and the
I've seen all of the Chucky.
Okay, good. Okay. I would have assumed that you maybe did. The girl that was in the wheelchair and the family, and then the Cult of Chucky where she was in the same. Okay, this is linked to. This is all in that same universe. Now everything. Chucky 1, Chucky 2, Chucky 3, The Bride of Chucky.
It's just a continuation of this story. So this is the future. Yeah. So Chucky in the future. And something else I absolutely love. So for any of you people who know what the term teeny bopper is, you'll love it. That the fact that Devon Sawa is in this movie. So when you think teeny bopper, you think Teen Bop with Leonardo DiCaprio, Andrew Keegan, Devon Sawa was on the covers. So all of those things. So the heartthrob from your childhood plays twins in this movie, in the series, and short-lived twins. So I'm going to spoil it for you. So eventually there ends up only being one of them, but still, it was nice to see him out. It was nice to see him on the screen again. So very excited.
They were twins?
You didn't notice that?
The second you said it, I realized that was the same actor playing both characters, wasn't it?
It was the same actor playing both characters. So he plays the father and the uncle.
That's good. I didn't even realize that.
Way to pay attention, Chris.
I went in just watching the series. I didn't even think they were twins at all. I didn't even notice that they were playing this.
One had facial hair, so maybe that's what did it.
It threw me all off. You put a beard on somebody, like it's just like Superman. You put glasses on. Where'd Clark go? Superman was just here. But I enjoy the premise of it. The fact that, like in the trailer, it makes it seem like this new boy he's going through issues, and Charles Lee Ray, aka Chucky, he's taking advantage of the fact that he's this kid is going through some struggles. He's being bullied. He's got some issues with his dad and things like that, and he's grooming this kid. That's the only way I can put it. He's grooming this kid. And
see, I disagree.
If you see the trailers to some clips in further episodes, it seems like Chucky. I don't think this kid is gonna be a 100%. He's a victim, but not 100% a victim. There's gonna be scenes where he's into it, where he's like, I don't like this person. I know Chucky's gonna do something about it, and I feel like Chucky is.
You think he's gonna get drunk with power,
or that Chucky is molding this kid to be a part of his cult that he's already. If you guys, spoiler alert, guys, if you've seen the Cult of Chucky, you know now that one of Chucky's new powers is that he can be in two places at once. He can be in multiple dolls simultaneously. So there's a reason why, like that voice that you heard. If you watch the episode, there's a person that originally that the kid was going to sell Chucky to, or trying to sell Chucky to. I'm 100% convinced that was Andy. That because he asked him on the phone, is the doll's name Chucky? Anything weird happening? That was Andy. Andy is on the hunt to wipe out Chucky wherever he may be. That's just what I think is going on. And they've already confirmed that Andy and the girl who played his babysitter in part 2, they're working together to try to wipe out Chucky. That was in some trailer. So I don't think this kid is going to 100% be a victim for too long. There's going to be times where he's in on it, and there's going to be times where he's being played. Ultimately, he's being played. He's being manipulated. But I think he's being groomed by Chucky to become a serial killer. That's what I think.
Well, ultimately, like he's going to be the scapegoat for anything if we've learned anything from these Chucky's things. So he already knows that he's in some sort of trouble. He's already lied to the police about breaking into the school to get Chucky because he couldn't say, I was here when my dad got electrocuted because then people would think it was him because obviously it seemed kind of fishy anyway. And, Chucky is obvious is just murdering people around this boy.
Yeah.
Because he's in his own vindictive, twisted way, he's protecting him. He's taking care of him. So he's been labeled as you're my best friend now. We're in it till the end.
Yeah.
So, he's a killer friend kind of thing. So, but any way around it, this kid is
he's screwed. I was literally about to say he's screwed.
So he's screwed. Everybody in his city, in a little town, thinks that he's strange. He's doing these things. His dad's murdered. His mom had died.
Yeah.
People are put off by him.
Yeah.
And now he's got this doll that's
and now that all these strange things are happening around him, it's just going to make it worse. And Chucky knows it. It's perfect.
I mean, he looks guilty. It's a complete manipulation tactic to where this poor boy is not going to have any other choice other than to basically fall into this new role that Chucky creates for him.
Maybe that's that might explain the cult of Chucky. Why all of a sudden Chucky has followers? Maybe when he spread that possessing the other dolls simultaneous thing. Maybe that's what he's done to all these Chucky followers. Maybe some of them are really like sipping the Kool-Aid and love Chucky. Maybe some of them were tortured like the way he's doing to this kid, and they had
it's gaslighting at its best. He is saying, no, I'm protecting you, I'm doing all of this for you, you're really so important to me, I'm trying to keep us safe, I'm trying to keep our secret, and ultimately no matter what happens you're going to get in trouble anyway.
Exactly.
So you might as well just fall into it.
You're stuck.
He's
no matter what.
in a very abusive relationship with a narcissist.
You might as well follow me because I've already ruined your life. So
you can go along with it, or you can rot in prison for all these murders or die.
Exactly. That's
he's screwed. And he killed the cat. Why did he have to kill the cat? I like cats.
No, I mean I like cats too, but I could tell that cat had it coming. That cat was a bastard. No, I just knew that cat was gonna go.
Yeah, because the cat knew right off the top. Cats know about things like that. So if you're a pet, people out there listening, don't like somebody, take that as real.
You're one of those that trope that the animals can see the ghost and all that. Yeah. Oh,
hey,
okay. You're one of those.
Not the ghost, but they can tell who's an asshole.
Cats think everybody's an asshole.
That's not true. If your dog straight up doesn't like somebody and your dog's nice to everybody, there's that's a problem.
That's gaslighting.
That's a problem with that person.
All right, but guys, let us know. I was
gaslighting you.
Overall, I wasn't too impressed with this first episode. I know, but I understand that this was just character development and everything like that. But everything that I see that's coming in the future is going to be. I'm excited about this series. So share your thoughts below, guys. Let us know what you thought about Chucky, and maybe we'll talk about it some more on We Got Your Mail. So moving on to the next major topic, Bill Murray. Guys, if you don't know, now you know. Here you go. So the source of the rumor appears to be. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me set this back up. Is Bill Murray joining the MCU in the next Ant-Man and the Wasp movie called Quantumania?
Quantumania.
The source of the rumor appears to be a blink and if you missed it moment when an eagle-eyed movie buff noticed that English actor John Townsend has been cast in something called Dust Bunny. For those that don't know, that is the production name of the new Marvel adventure for Scott Lang and company. What makes the casting more interesting is that Townsend is listed as Bill Murray's photo double. So the major question is Bill Murray about to be cast or is already cast in the MCU for for the upcoming Ant-Man movie. What do you think overall? The clues have been said. Are you just excited about the speculation of it, or do you want this to be a real thing?
So if he was in it, it'd be super awesome, super funny, and I would love every second of it, even if it was just, just for giggles and wasn't a real part or anything like that. I don't know what he would be in the movies, and but I think ultimately it's just rumor. It's just for fun. They lie on the internet for hype. IMDb lies, everything nowadays. It's a super popular choice to spread out all these rumors to hype up a movie before it comes out. And I can understand why they're trying to hype up the Ant-Man and the Wasp new movie, because it's being kind of overshadowed by Doctor Strange, by Agatha, by all these different things that are coming out from the MCU. And Ant-Man is a fun movie. The Ant-Man and the Wasp movies are fun, but they haven't done as well as some of the other movies. So I get it. But and Bill Murray would be a big name to throw in there, and I love him. So yes, I want it, but do I think it will happen? Nah.
So you're on cap. This is all cap for you. I'm with you to the extent that I'm not sure. I wouldn't be surprised.
Bill Murray's on your shirt.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he is. I feel like Bill Murray as a person, he fits perfectly with the MCU. And here's another thing. I just thought of this. He's age appropriate with Michael Douglas. There could be a thing in the past with Michael Douglas's character and maybe Bill Murray. Maybe they were scientists together and there was something that they had a falling off or something like that. So he's age appropriate for a villain.
Who would he be?
Who would he be? I don't follow the Ant-Man's comic books that well. So.
I mean, we know who the Wasp's parents are. We know who Ant-Man's parents are. So
maybe he was in love. He was in love with the original Wasp, with Michelle Pfeiffer. There you go. Love triangle. There you go.
Okay.
I'm writing this movie as we do this show. That's how we do it.
Take notes, Marvel.
There you go, Marvel. You're welcome. All right, guys. Let us know what you guys think about the whole idea of Bill Murray joining the MCU. Are you for it? Are you against it? And we'll talk. Maybe we'll talk about it on the upcoming show. All right. Moving on to one of the next topics. I guess this is an hour show from now on.
Here we go.
Moving on. So. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What's his name? What is the actor's name? Will Poulter. Is it Poulter or I was going to say Polar? Will Poulter.
I think it's Poulter. It's got a T in it.
Poulter to play Adam Warlock in the next installment of the Marvel franchise. Best known for the role in The Revenant and Detroit, Poulter has been busy on the TV front, mostly recently appearing in the acclaimed Amazon miniseries, The Underground Railroad. He next can be seen in the Hulu limited series Dope Sick. He is repped by WME and Hamilton Holtel, Fantastic Frank. Hamilton Holtel. I'm sorry, it should have been a period thing. And how do I put this? A TikTok personality. Her name is Fantastic Frankie. If you don't know her, go follow her on TikTok because she's amazing. Awesome nerd. Fantastic Frankie from TikTok made this observation of fans pointing out that we should not worry about this casting being comic book accurate, because people have been saying that he is not comic book accurate. But she makes a pretty good observation, saying that because he's such a good actor, saying it's just crazy to me how when they cast chronologically handsome man being handsome is part of the character. Now it doesn't seem to matter that they are comic book accurate. But how is it grace when y'all bullied Jessica Alba in wearing a terrible blonde wig and blue eye contact? Or when you told the beautiful Gal Gadot that her boobs were too small to play Wonder Woman? But for some reason, when it's Will Poulter to play this character, now all of a sudden people are online saying it doesn't matter if it's comic book accurate because he's such a good actor. I'm gonna be honest with you. I agree with Fantastic Frankie when I say, because people did say that they were all against Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman until they saw the movie. Then they were for it. They were against they hated Jessica Alba playing Fantastic Four because she's biracial, but they wanted her to look more like was
like
it
a
Sue
white
Richard?
blonde lady.
Yeah, white blonde lady for Sue Richard from the comic book. So they gave her that bad wig and the blue eye contact. So it's funny how it's probably some of the same people who gave that energy for those ladies, but for this man, there's like, comic book accuracy doesn't matter. What do you think?
I guess I'm confused about why they're so upset, because I'm looking at pictures of Adam Warlock, the comic book pictures, blonde haired, square jawed dude.
Check.
Okay. White dude. Check. This guy, Will Poulter, he's a handsome dude. What's wrong with him? Adam Warlock is set up to be a handsome dude. Will Poulter is a handsome dude. He's not like a beefcake like the classic comics are, but as we've seen before, people put on muscle to play roles. So I don't see.
I like that box that you're painting these white men in. You're like, what are you saying? He's not attractive enough? You don't find him attractive enough? Now these guys
it's the same thing. It's like the media is picking out these stupid little things, like her boobs aren't big enough. No, they can't buy a padded bra to put on her to have big boobs. But why does Wonder Woman have to have giant titas? I don't care. Why does Jessica Alba's character in Fantastic Four have to be a super whitey white lady? I don't understand what the issue is. These are actors and actresses coming in to bring life to a role. Right. Hollywood has the purview and the opportunity to sculpt things for who they can find that are talented enough to play them. What's the big whoop? Why are we on our high horse? Back to Dave Chappelle, get off it.
Exactly.
Pick something that actually matters to be mad about. Yeah. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. I'm gonna watch it. Yeah. It's gonna be great. I love Guardians of the Galaxy,
and I like this casting. I like look ever since Meet the Millers. I don't care what he does. He's awesome.
Great.
He's great. He's fun, and I think it fits. I think his comedic timing and everything is probably why he was picked, because I'm convinced that this is not just going to be it's probably going to be one of those situations where the character thinks that he's taking everything seriously, but everything that he does, like Drax, but everything he does is just hilarious. I think it's going to be a lot of fun based on what I've seen him do. But Fantastic Frankie,
he's a cute guy. There's nothing wrong with him.
But Fantastic Frankie called it. She was 100% spot on. Why is it now not a big deal to be comic book accurate? So I'm with you, Fantastic Frankie. I think good on you, good observation. She called it. Go follow her on TikTok. She's got a lot of great content, and she's a super geeky nerd, Black and Latina woman who's crushing it out there on TikTok. So shout out to you can just tell how much I'm pandering to her right now. We love you, Fantastic Frankie. No. Can you give us a shout out here at T3 Media? Like you can just tell. That's what we do. I pander. Okay? I pander. All right.
I just hope they don't put him in the red one-atard. It's not even a leotard because it's basically a one-piece swimsuit with a belt. I don't want to see that.
Well, I'm sure he's going to get super ripped and super buff, and these guys who are complaining about that it doesn't have to be comic book accurate. I can tell you just want to see his some frontal nudity. I guess that's what you guys want.
I think the MCU standard will come into play, but he's gotten buff for roles before, so we've seen him, and he's grown up a lot since Meet the Millers.
Exactly.
So it's okay.
But
I'm at a loss to how it's not comic book accurate. He's a white guy, blonde hair.
They're projecting. It's a preemptive strike. They assumed that
I'm just
that
saying.
He was
look
going to be
right there in your picture. Right. White guy, blonde hair. Actor, white guy, blonde hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the problem?
It's projection. They knew that because of what they did to Gal Gadot and Jessica Alba, that this was a legit complaint, and they wanted to protect him. So that's what's going. I don't know.
This seems ridiculous.
I'm just stirring up the pot for no reason.
This is a ridiculous one.
Well, guys,
as ridiculous as the other ones. Just don't watch it if you think he's too white to play the white guy.
Yeah, if you need to squint to look at his no. But I feel like it's gonna be fine. I feel like, but Fantastic Frankie did bring some raise some great points on because like Gal Gadot especially. That she received way too much criticism before the movie even came out, and then when the movie came out, those same people were like, "Oh, I love Gal Gadot's casting all along." No, you didn't. I was for Ben Affleck since day one. No, you weren't. No,
she was on Fallon and she was reading those mean tweets, and one of them was like, "Where's your titties at?" It was like phrased like that. It was very poor grammatically, and she was like, "They're right here," and it's just like, why are you so preoccupied with her breasts? Get over it. More than half of the world has breasts. They come in various sizes and shapes.
Leave
them alone.
Let's break that question down. The question is, why would I be interested in Gal Gadot's boobs? Come on. Because I want to see them. Come on, you know the answer.
Not the size. I'm talking about the size in like Wonder Woman, who basically looks like
that's the trick.
Wonder Woman in comics looked like a blow-up doll. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Though that's not a realistic view of a woman. Yeah. So I appreciate in the Wonder Woman movies that she was actually dressed.
Yeah.
She wasn't basically in a metal bikini. This wasn't, Princess Leia laying next to Jabba the Hutt kind of thing. So I mean, leave the woman alone. She's beautiful. She's a mom. She's got beautiful babies, and boobs change over time. So get off it.
There's a message to leave off. All right, moving on to
titties alone.
I can't do it. Can't do it. All right, moving on to the next topic. Dean Cain blasted DC Comics because of the new bisexual Superman, calling it a bandwagon. If you don't know, here you go. Dean Cain was on, what was it Fox? He was on an interview, and he says
ABC.
that was it ABC? The 55-year-old actor who starred on the ABC series Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, from 1993 to 1997, took jabs at the comic book publisher during an interview with Fox and Friends on Tuesday.
Right.
They said it's a bold direction. But I say they're bandwagoning. Cain definitely declared. Robin just came out as bi. Who's really shocked about that one? Wow, shots fired. The new Captain America is gay. My daughter in the TV series Supergirl, where I played the father, was gay. So I don't think it's bold or brave or some crazy new direction. If they had done this 20 years ago, perhaps that would be bold or brave. But he doesn't believe that it's bold or brave to do this today. Now, real quick, let me just be honest. Dean, I've met Dean and I've shared my Dean story. Dean, that's not even bold or brave for you to say that on Fox and Friends today, that if this was 20 years ago, of course it would have been bold and brave to happen 20 years ago, but it would never have happened. The second that writer put that on the paper, the producers would never allow it to go to screen. It would not have happened 20 years ago.
I also don't buy that he would have played a gay character. Let's be real.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would argue that Dean did play a gay version of Superman. If you want to be honest, Dean Cain, like Dean Cain. Let's be honest, Dean. And I'm not saying that it was the worst. I loved Lois and Clark, but if Dean Cain is trying to use the term "gay" as a negative, then I'm sorry, Dean. Your version of Superman promoted that negative version of it, but I loved your version of Superman. It wasn't negative, but your sick like mentality around this whole subject. You're just trying, you're probably just struggling for work and you just need to be on TV. But your views about this is just you just trying to just be relevant anymore. It's to me it's
just trying to get some press.
It's the worst rated or one of the worst versions of Superman that's ever come to screen, even though I loved it and watched it as a kid. But it's his character, the way he's act. If he just says nothing,
he's smug.
He's so smug about it. If he just says nothing, then the legacy of the Adventures of Lois and Clark would have grown more and more. When I met Dean Cain, I asked him, it was in 2004, 2005. I asked him specifically, this was in the midst of the Smallville TV series. I said, hey, there's a new Smallville TV series coming out. Are you going to be on it? And he's like, well, at the time, it was being honest, they haven't called me. No, I'm not on it. They haven't called me yet. And then a few years later, he got on it. Then he got cast in the Supergirl TV series, just as he mentioned, as Supergirl's adopted, father. But that was short lived. Dean is one of these guys who, if he just stops making everything political and just stops trying to be relevant, stop trying to do these extra things just to only pander to a minority of the fandom, you would probably be more involved. But you keep putting your foot in your mouth and need this attention to the point where DC is not going to call you at all anymore. At this point, that's just I don't know why you don't hear Tom Welling saying any of these things. You don't hear Henry Cavill saying any of these things, and they're gonna constantly be sought after to play their characters again and again and again.
But he's that guy. Like anything you've learned over watching any of his interviews, he's a smug guy. He can't understand why the world isn't as obsessed with him as he is with himself. And I'm sorry to say it so meanly like that. I obviously don't know him as a person, but that's how he comes off. Like he comes off as like, why are you the unimportant, talking to me like that?
Why is Tom Welling's more famous than me?
Yeah, that's how he comes off. That's how he is in interviews and things like that, the ones that I've seen. So to say that making a character gay is bandwagoning nowadays, I don't agree with that terminology at all. Like changing a character's sexuality nowadays to be a gay character, to be a bi character nowadays isn't bandwagoning. It's very common.
It's exactly what's happening nowadays. Exactly.
It's very common, but honestly, totally buy it. Robin, I always thought that Superman and Robin kind of were a little close. There's some spandex involved, that it's this weird in the original comic books, Robin was
Batman was Batman was always sus. I mean, those
young.
Those
like
old
he was
books.
A random teenager,
right?
That all of a sudden goes and lives with this rich man in his big house. Nobody else there.
There are old comic book strips, but this was back when the comic book code and it was all innocent. But yeah, it was all innocent then.
Young teenager. I'm not talking about you. Yeah, I'm talking about young.
But today, now it's being questioned. Your Batman is laying in bed. Bruce Wayne is laying in bed with Robin. And now this is his adopted son. Back then, maybe it was considered innocent, but to today's standards, it's like, no, that's a little sus. So
that's when they check into a hotel. This is my nephew.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
it's my adopted son. We're not blood. Yeah, it's okay. That's gross.
I mean,
that doesn't need to happen. I'm not approving that type of relationship. I'm saying that it's inappropriate for an adult male to have a romantic relationship with a teenage boy.
Exactly. And I know what you mean by that. But to go back to Superman for Dean Cain, if there's any character where it would make sense, an alien. I mean, why? I mean, I understand that there may be a male and female, and obviously in Krypton there obviously.
Is, yeah.
But I mean, but to aliens, I mean, there's also aliens that don't look human at all. What would they care about our version of sexuality?
He came to Earth as a baby, so he was raised basically human. So to me, it's. He was also raised as a Christian
white guy in Middle East.
An oppressed Christian white guy in the Midwest.
A character that was created by a Jewish man had to make his character a traditional nuclear family type Christian white guy.
Well, that was also the time.
That was also the time
in which that was written here. So, I mean, I got it, but
welcome to 2021.
Somebody walked up to me and said, "Hey, guess what? Superman and Robin are gay now." I'd be like, yeah.
That makes sense. That makes it. They do spend a lot of time together.
And there's a lot of spandex and super awesome costumes. So,
but to say that it's forced is ignoring the fact that it was obviously forced when you obviously made sure to always, because it was a rule. You got a male a hero, pair them up with a female wife. I mean, it was forced by a default.
Lesser.
Yeah,
it was,
a female
she
lesser.
She had to be less than him, and she had to be obsessed with him in some way.
Yeah.
So a reporter obsessed with a superhero, getting him is a perfect thing, because apparently the woman always has to be obsessed with somebody.
Exactly. And that was the unknown rules back then. I mean, it was a default setting back then, so they don't see it as being forced, but it was forced. It was because it was a rule. Because we were just talking about Wonder Woman a minute ago. Go back. There's a movie about the creation of the man who created Wonder Woman. It's fascinating what that character was originally intended to be. It was to break these toxic masculinity mentalities back then. Wonder Woman is a dominatrix, and they were trying to put these images into the comic book so little boys could grow up seeing that a strong woman wasn't an abnormal thing. And DC and the creator of Wonder Woman,
to be threatened.
Not to be threatened. And they would.
So they had to put her basically in a string metal bikini in order to make her non-threatening.
The lasso of truth was a dominatrix. There's a whole thing about that. I forgot the movie that I'm citing. There's something in the Wonder Women. It's on Hulu.
But you look at the women in comics and their powers versus the men in comics and their powers. The men are ultimately strength. They have more. Yeah. It's more powerful, and the women's powers are more subtle. If you don't look at Miss Marvel, obviously Miss Marvel kicks ass everywhere. But yeah, it's different. It's extremely sexist. Yeah. So yay, Batman or Superman and Robin finally getting it on. There we go.
I mean, hey, the new Superman. Look, he's exploring his options. He's exploring his options. I mean, why not? I mean, and look, if Superman was a real person, what would you? I dare anybody that's homophobic. What you gonna do? What you gonna say to him? But
who cares? Like, it's okay.
Yeah, it seems like a them issue than a Superman issue.
I never really got into the Superman because I never liked how he treated Lois Lane. I always felt like it was such this subversive, very manipulative thing, very dismissive, and ultimately, no matter what happened between them, she would have to give up everything.
But she was a strong character. I mean, stronger than most characters that were created back then. She was very opinionated, more than any other woman that was created back then.
But again, like as soon as she fell in love and he fell in love with her, and then he revealed himself, she had to give up any sort of journalistic integrity. She had to give up all of her career. She had to try to save him and try to keep his secret. And ultimately, anything that would have happened, like if he would have left her at any moment, she would have been, or screwed up her whole career.
What would you rather, her an issue where there's like a big bitter divorce and she reveals that he's Superman in court?
Sure.
She went through Superman's phone, she went through Superman's phone, found out that he cheated with Wonder Woman, and now she's, I'm bringing it all out.
I would have rather her be in a different career path to where it didn't have to be him or nothing, absolutely having nothing for herself. So it would have been a better story to me for her to be, like a company owner, a VP at a company, something like that, to where she's doing something outside of that incessant being super obsessed with Superman.
Where's my dinner, Lois? Anyway, okay, let's.
Yeah.
I don't think Superman treats her like that, but maybe, I don't know. If you like it,
who knows?
Real quick, moving on to the last part of it. I'm gonna run down the We Got Your Mail version of it because we've already gone an hour. Guys, so like normal, if you guys send us any questions, comments, concerns, sometimes we might use it on an episode of We Got Your Mail. So that's what we're going to do real quick. So let me throw this in there. So from Red Scorpion. Red Scorpion says, so I asked, what film will you be watching this week in theaters? Red Scorpion says, maybe the mini Saints of Newark on HBO Max. Not really going to theaters this year since movies are on HBO Max and COVID is still around.
We talked about that.
All right, what movie theaters versus? I've been going to the movies a little bit more lately. HBO Max, this whole thing with HBO Max and some of their movies coming to, I promised you that I would watch Dune in theaters, and I will keep that promise. And here's something interesting.
You have to.
Here's something interesting about Dune. At that time when we had that conversation, I hadn't even watched the trailer or anything. I've never watched anything of Dune. I've never watched the old original movie, never read the books, and I never watched the new trailer. But the other day when I was at the theaters, they played the trailer. And I got to see that trailer on the screen. And the second I saw it, I was like, holy ish. I said, I am definitely going to watch this on the screen.
I'm right.
Maybe. But prepare to be disappointed. Just like with James Bond. The fact that they're simultaneously being streamed, it's not doing them any favors. If this was exclusively in the theaters, I think HBO Max should have broke their promise for at least this movie, because you can tell it's so expensive, so epic, and because people have a different mentality, especially the new generation, when they know that the movie is sitting at home waiting for them to just stream anytime.
Hey, I'm right there.
They're gonna wait, and they're not gonna watch it when it first debuts. They're gonna be like, I can catch it next week or whatever. But when it's only in theaters, it's like, I got to get out there and watch it on Friday before I get spoiled or something. It's just a different mentality. So I think
like we talked about before, they have to come with a different matrix for success, because they can't solely base the movie's success on opening weekend or how it does in the first 30 days or whatever. Because people are watching it at home. So they can't say a movie didn't do well. So there's going to have to be a different mentality put out in the world.
They can, if they spent X amount of money and the streaming didn't cover it. they can say the movie didn't do well.
Well, then that's their own damn fault. It's their fault for setting it up to not make as much money. So they have to figure out a different way to do it.
They will. They'll spend less money on movies, and the epic in-game quality, Doom quality type movies will be far in between, because it won't make sense to. But that's what you get when you only want them to come to your house. No, get off your butts and go to theaters, guys, because that's the only way we're gonna get big Doom.
It's nice to put on real pants every once in a while and go outside.
You know what? Maybe next week. I've been thinking about this as a topic. Maybe you can help me with this. Dating. Okay. Going out on a movie date is different than asking. You ask a lady out, let's go out to a movie. She wants. Okay, it's a date. You go out and you go see the movie. But when you ask a woman to go out on a movie date that's at your house on Netflix, this whole concept of Netflix and chill, it's a whole different thing, guys. Yeah. God, go back to the theaters. If you like, all these girls ain't gonna want to go to your house.
Yeah, but I mean, you go to a movie, it has to be like several dates in, because you're not talking, you're watching the movie. Yeah. So asking her to go to the movies with you is more of a get to know you activity. I enjoy being around you. Versus, hey, you can come over. I'm gonna order pizza and we're gonna watch Netflix. Yeah, that's a different sort of invitation. That's a different sort of invitation.
Sex flicks is what you really mean.
Yeah.
Like how long in this movie till? I'm just saying.
All right, I'm so tired.
Like. I wish I could magically have my hand move over to Sarah's screen, like, and then she's like, "Get off me!" All right, moving on to the next question, guys. From Paul Shockley, he says, "I think that since they are working together, I forgot what the topic was. Marvel. I think that since they are working together, Marvel is letting Sony be part of the MCU, but not part of the MCU. Part of the MCU, but not part of the MCU, LOL. If you know what I mean. No, I don't. Sony can have Spider-Man fight their characters on the side of the wider MCU. If Venom does fight Spider-Man in the MCU, hopefully that is in Spider-Man 4. a rumor of a potential new trilogy between the studios. Marvel Studios would have a soft reboot of Venom, not acknowledge those Venom movies. But when Venom 3 comes out, Sony can make some acknowledgement to the MCU. That's my guess, as Marvel Studios likes to make their stories perfect and all go together. I mean, that's I kind of understand it, but yeah, I agree. I don't. They've already shown us
contractually, Sony owns Venom,
right? Because it's linked to Spider-Man.
They paid mucho dinero to get Spider-Man into this latest film for that short little bit that he was in.
Yeah,
they paid a lot of money to be able to borrow that character.
Right.
Sony owns Venom. Marvel doesn't want Venom back.
Right.
It's fine.
Exactly.
Let them have it.
It's great. It would be great if they can, and if there's a way to use it. If Kevin Feige can find a way to use, I mean, spoiler alert, guys. For those of you who have not seen Venom, spoiler alert. I mean, you know that it's all, for a temporary moment, it's all going to come together. But it's obviously because,
but not with the MCU universe and the direction it's going.
Exactly, not for the future. This is a layup.
Spider-Man put his toe in the water. He's back out, back in his normal trajectory.
We've got something that Sony has never had before. We've got a foundation of some movies that have built this epic foundation. He's been featured in like Avengers movies. He's been in his own solo movies. You've seen Tom Holland as Spider-Man technically more than you've seen any other actor. Even Tobey Maguire. You've seen him a lot. He's put in a lot of hours as Spider-Man. So now that's been done, they are now moving in the direction of this whole. They've now built are building a pretty good Spider-Verse with the Morbius movie coming out, with Venom being a success. There's probably
need Venom in it.
They don't need MCU doesn't need MCU. I mean, no, Sony can now take Spider-Man back for the long term and not be associated with MCU in the future. Maybe when that day comes, when they close the door from MCU and Sony, maybe in the future there'll be a couple of references here. I'm pretty sure Tobey will still say, "I miss Mr. Stark" or something a little cute like that. Mm-hmm. But and maybe they'll acknowledge Spider-Man a little here and there to let you know that maybe in another epic Avengers type movie that he can come back. But this is all just a.
No, Spider-Man is going to be in the future of the MCU universe. So the Sony universe. Wait,
is that what you think? You think Spider-Man is going to still continue to be in the MCU after all this?
Yes.
No, they are closing that door. They are setting the ground.
Have they sold the Spider-Man rights to Sony?
No. That's what I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about because of, last year.
Do you think Tom Holland's contract's up and they're done with Spider-Man?
Remember when they announced a year or two ago that MCU and Sony weren't going to do any movies together, and everybody was pissed off about it.
But Sony doesn't own Spider-Man. Disney owns Spider-Man.
No, Sony owns Spider-Man. No, Disney owns Spider-Man. Sony owns the rights.
Owns Venom.
Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man films. Sony owns Spider-Man films.
I'm doing it right now.
For example,
who owns?
Disney and Marvel still own Spider-Man, but Sony owns the rights to make a Spider-Man movie. And Venom is related to that, so that's why. So if there's a movie to be made, that's why Sony is the producer, 100%. Disney and Sony have decided they made a deal to come together to merge Spider-Man into the MCU, but this was always a temporary thing. And Sony and Disney announced that they weren't going to be making movies together anymore. Fans got upset, and then they decided to re-up their agreement and extend it for a little while longer, which is why we're getting Spider-Man 3. But after this, I'm thinking after Spider-Man 3, that's it. Tom Holland is going to get sucked into the Venom universe, which is technically the Spider-Man universe, Sony Spider-Man universe, and the door is going to close. He's no longer going to be linked to the MCU anymore. And maybe in the future they'll find a way to open the door again. But this is Sony and Marvel telling the fans, get used to this. We tried to do this last year. Y'all got mad, so we renewed the contract. But Spider-Man is going back 100% to Sony and not being related to
Sony. Owns the film
producing rights.
Disney owns merchandising, and ultimately
they can make TV shows. And
Sony is basically like leasing the rights for the films from Disney. No, so
they're leasing their character back to Disney temporarily. It's a shared thing. Like Kevin Feige is a producer, but everything that he did for those solo Spider-Man movies, Sony had to agree with it. Of course, Sony was going to let Kevin Feige do whatever he wanted to do, but ultimately, Sony had to say, "Oh yeah, we'll let you make Vulture the main villain in the first one."
Sony owned it first in 1999, and then 2009, Disney bought it back purchased Marvel, and then 100% bought Spider-Man back. And
where are you reading that at?
USA Today.
When Sony bought the film rights to Spider-Man back in the 90s, that was when Marvel was in a lot of debt and a lot of trouble. They sold a lot of their characters off, but they never sold Iron Man, Captain America, and all those other characters. They kept those, and then they launched their own studio and they got successful. But Sony never gave, and a lot of the other characters that they sold off came back to Marvel. Sony never let Spider-Man come back. They won't. They never will. They never will. The agreement is you have to be in production of a new Spider-Man movie every maybe a year and a half or 2 years or whatever the agreement is. But if you don't do a new Spider-Man movie within that time frame, then the rights default back to Marvel. But Sony's never. That's why they rebooted it so many times. That's what I'm saying.
So ultimately, Marvel owns Spider-Man, but Sony has an agreement with Marvel, which is Disney.
Marvel owns Spider-Man, but Sony owns the
Sony's film. Leasing it.
No, Sony owns the film. Sony owns the rights to make a Spider-Man movie.
But they're leasing the ownership of the characters in order to make a movie every so often. But if they stop within the franchise of making movies every so often, it defaults back to Disney Marvel. Right. So ultimately, Disney is the ultimate owner who's leasing the film rights to Sony per their agreement, but Disney also owns the merchandising.
Okay. They own the merchandise. They can make a TV show. They can make T-shirts. They can make comic books. They can make everything else. But if Spider-Man is going to appear in a movie, Sony has to be involved in it, and definitely has to sign off on it, which is what they temporarily agreed to do this merger. But yeah, get used to it, guys. Spider-Man's going back 100% back to Sony and without MCU help. So I think this is all just a setup for us to slowly get used to it. That's this whole Spider-Verse thing. But all right, moving on to the next one real quick. Based on that question that I posted on the community tab, and if you guys are watching the community tab, thank you guys for answering questions and voting. For the question, what film will you be watching this week in theaters? You already did this one. That was the same one. I'm sorry about that. Mm-hmm. What was the next one? Number 4. From Johnny3432. No Time to Die. I will be waiting for this. I've been waiting for this for a while. And he talks about, and Mecha Random 42. That's a YouTuber, can eat it. Yeah, she sucks. But I am also looking forward to Venom, considering the post-credit scene that supposedly is amazing. And if you don't know it, it was. No Time to Die. It's not making as much money in the North America as it is overseas. I'm not interested in. I hadn't watched the last one. So I don't know if I'm going to watch this one. I've kind of lost interest in James Bond. What about you?
I'll watch it.
You'll watch it?
But, I mean, it makes more sense that it's doing better overseas. I mean, it's James Bond. It's an international character.
International man of mystery.
For reals.
I see what I did wrong. I kind of messed up the order of what I was.
BT Dubs. Mm-hmm. Does the chat box work? Because I'm looking at it says learn more.
It does. I don't know who's on the chat box. But yeah, that's a link to the actual chat box. I don't know who's watching live or if there's anybody watching live. Let me double check. Holy crap, you're right. People have been chatting like crazy.
Yeah.
and I've been missing it. You are 100% right, Tom Holland. Hey, the movie Gonk. I'm sorry about that, brother. I did not see you there for a second. I messed up the chat box there. What did I do wrong?
I'm frozen now.
Oh, yeah, because when I minimized the screen, I didn't realize I did something with the chat. What the heck did I do wrong with the chat box? There we go. Let me
I mean, you could have at least frozen me in a cute position.
There it is. The chat. Hey, I'm sorry about that. Real quick. Perp minded. The movie Gonk. Tom Holland will not be Spider-Man in any Sony only Spider-Man films. He is Spider-Man. What are you talking about? He is Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's Spider-Man now.
Let's see. Sony owns the character. Marvel/Disney only has distribution rights. Sony owns the character. Marvel/Disney only has.
Well, what I just read ultimately Disney Marvel own it.
No, Sony has the distribution rights. They are on. This is a joint venture. They are lending the character back to the MCU. And in a joint agreement. This is temporarily. But if Sony didn't want to do this, then no, MCU wouldn't be able to do it. Disney does not have distribution rights. They are producing it. Sony distributes it. That's the rights that when I say that Spider-Man, Sony owns the film rights to Spider-Man. That's distribution. That you cannot put put Spider-Man on the big screen unless Sony is distributing it out there. So you have that backwards. Sony owns the distribution rights, just like Universal owns.
Sony does have the film rights. Yeah. He's right.
Just like Universal,
they don't own it as much as it's a contract that they're basically leasing it.
Similar, based on term. And a movie Gonky mentions I was just about to bring this up. Similar to the Hulk, is owned by another studio, Universal. Universal owns the distribution rights to Hulk, and for some stupid reason, they won't give it back. They don't have any plans on using it, but they know that Disney,
because they make money if they keep it.
Well, they make money if a Hulk movie is made, but that's why Disney will never make a. This is why Hulk was in Ragnarok, because if the agreement is if the character Hulk is in like more than 50% of the screen time, then it's technically a Hulk movie. But if he's only in like 30% of the screen time, it's only a team effort, Avengers, Ragnarok, for example, then they don't have to pay Universal. That's the agreement with that. Universal, give those rights back. That sucks. Last one from the movie Gonk, owned in terms of rights. But real quick, let's move on. Thanks, Sarah, for pointing out. I honestly thought that nobody was in the chat box, but you were like, no, that doesn't make sense. I appreciate that. Real quick, last.
I was like, what do we have to learn more about?
Yeah, right. One of the last thing that comes up was from. I think we've already covered this. Let's move on real fast. Let's knock out the last two for We Got Your Vote. For We Got Your Vote, we have. What do I have? Come on, Chris, get it together. Last question came up was, which animated horror was the scariest? Tell us why in the comments. 27% three-way tie. Monster House, Caroline, Corpse Bride. All three got 27%. At 13%, it is Nightmare Before Christmas, which I thought that was gonna win. And at 7%, Paranorman. I've never seen Corpse Bride and I've never seen Paranorman. I have seen the others though, and I kind of agree with that. I love Monster House.
Isn't Paranorman like a Pixar movie?
Maybe, but I don't think so. Not Pixar, but it's one of those studios, like stop animation kind of things, like kind of like a Corpse Bride, like maybe a not MGM. What's that other? What's the one with the ET logo? From Shrek, the people who make Shrek and all that, from maybe from them, but definitely not Pixar. Last one for the night before we go, guys. No, I've been way over time. What country would you be interested in us doing a first time watching? I'm gonna do more first time watching. I've got one that's queued up that I need to edit and put up there. First time watching. What country? I realize that I've seen so many movies that it's hard for me to do a first time watching because I probably have already seen it. And I don't know if Sarah or anybody else is interested in doing first time watching, because I'm asking you to commit 2 hours to watch a movie and record yourself watching the movie. So I've only asked myself to do it. But you've said that you will be okay with watching me watch movies from Europe at 45%. Said Europe. 28% said movies from Japan.
Europe has so many choices, though.
That's why I did it. I didn't want to just say Britain, so I said, okay. That's all I said.
I think you should watch French romantic cinema. I think you should pick very specific categories to torture you in.
You mean porn? Okay.
No.
Or 17% of you guys said movies from Korea, and 10% said India, and
Have you seen Amelie?
No.
See?
Would you guys be interested in the first time watching of Amelie? What would be a movie? What's a movie out there that everybody's seen and everybody talked about that you haven't seen yet?
That I haven't seen?
That you haven't seen. Venom. Hey, how about that? Let's record Sarah doing a first time watching Venom.
Nah.
You might be.
I'll watch it.
I went into Venom thinking I was gonna hate it, and I was pleasantly surprised. I'm not.
You were very positive before you even got there.
No, that's Venom 2. I was positive. I don't know if you saw my review of Venom 2. The way I thought I was going to feel about Venom 1 turned out to be the way I felt about Venom 2. I thought I was going to hate Venom 1, and I turned out to love it. I thought I was going to love Venom 2, and I didn't like it so much. So it was kind of mixed on that. But all right, guys, that's the show. Every time I say that I'm going to make this a 30-minute show, it turns into a 2-hour show. Thank you again for Sarah for helping me figure out that the chat box was lit, and I just didn't notice it. Sarah, if they want to find you online, where can they go and reach out to you?
That's right there. Sarah Katherine the Red on all channels.
And if you want to reach out to me, that is Chris Fagan, Chris W. Fagan. I'm on Twitter and all that stuff. But if you really want to reach out to me, hit me up at T3 Medias. That's the show, guys. I appreciate you as always. And until next time, peace.
Our supporters help make all this content possible, so make sure you check out our Patreon page so you can help us bring you the content you want.
Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal. Yo. Turned up on another level. Push the pedal to the freaking metal. I'm turned up just like heavy metal.